Welcome to the Cam Sports Jam Halloween Sports Spooktacular. All right, let's get into some sports. Come on now.
Well
Happy
done.
Halloween, Jammers. Thank you guys for tuning in yet again to another episode of the Cam Sports Jam. BC, your host, Brad Cameron, alongside me, none other than the famous Steven Berkheimer. Come on, give it up, people. Give it up. Here he is. Never wrong. I'm always wrong. Steven Berkheimer alongside me. Stevie, how you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling great. How about yourself?
I'm feeling
You
good.
got your costume picked out?
I do have my costume picked out.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to tell you yet, but Instagram will reveal all.
Okay.
So,
I'm looking forward to it.
Just in case, follow us on Instagram, Cam Sports Jam. You might get a heads up of what my Halloween costume is going to be. And even Stevie's costume, too.
Oh, sign me up.
Hey, here we go.
Check us out, Instagram.
Yeah, here we go now. Halloween. We'll give you guys ideas. In case you're wondering, we'll give you ideas. But, we got a lot to talk about tonight. But before we begin, as always, big shout out to one of our sponsors, Good Samaritans Medical Transport. For all your medical transport needs, just call Good Samaritans Medical Transport. Good Samaritans Medical Transport, service that exceeds expectations. Let's get into business here, Stevie. Start local, like we always do. Let's talk about some recent stuff that's going on right now. NHL just started up. So did NBA. But we want to focus first on the Caps. Right now, positioning, I'm just throwing numbers out here. 4th in the Metro Division. Last year we were 1st. But it's early. I'm just giving it numbers. Current record 3-2-1, 7 points so far through the season, through 6 games. Upcoming game at Vancouver, who's 4-2-1, has 9 points. Is there much to take right now, Stevie, from any of this, or
Much to take. I wouldn't think there's much to take. Our offensive side of the puck is on I guess a bit of a struggle early, but that comes along with getting back into the game, taking the hits, getting more physical and getting used to the physicality of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was what started us off so well last year, and today we're kind of going slow. Holtby still looked pretty much himself. The win-loss percentage isn't the same. But that also goes along with how many goals we're scoring per game. So
No, I hear you. I think our goals are down, but Ovechkin is still off to a hot start, which is kind of relaxing to know that your star is still feeling it, and everyone else needs to kind of catch up. We need some other goals coming from other places. We need Backstrom to start filtering these power plays. Typically, that was our strong suit last year. Seems to be a little sluggish to start the year. This year, it'll come around. I mean, we're just giving you guys knowledge here. It's so early in the year, hard to really take anything from it. We'll see what happens. Chances are we'll come around.
We're 3-2-1. I mean, you can't have that many complaints off to a slow start. So
Exactly. Not like we're completely winless, like 3-2-1, and we're off to a slow start. So Let's get going. Yeah, you're about to see it. It's about to get going. But let's move on. A little bit of college football. Terps. Let's talk Maryland. Our squad 5-2 goes on the road against a 3-4 Indiana squad that is decent at times, has put up some fights against some pretty good squads. Currently, Indiana is supposed to win by 3.5 at home. But in my opinion, I kind of feel like 3.5 is about what they give home field advantage. So I almost think they're calling this a 50-50 game, in my opinion. And I think the Terps with this is with Hills at quarterback, I feel comfortable we can win this game. I don't know what I just said.
Oh, you just said comfortable with Hills.
I am comfortable with Hills, Perry Hills. I'm comfortable with you at quarterback right now. I was happy to see you come back and lead us to victory last week. And I hope you can do the same against Indiana. I think I took you for granted. I'm willing to apologize about some of the ineptities that I was really, really casting towards you. And I'm willing to say, if you come to play against Indiana, we're gonna get this win. We're gonna get this win. I just said it. Perry Hills is gonna play. We're gonna get this win. I got Maryland 31-27. Indiana's gonna put up a fight, but I got Maryland 31-27. I think our rush game showed some spark that we had before our loss streak, our 2-game loss streak. I saw a little spark in our rush game, with Hills helping, running also. What do you see here, Stevie? 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I've doubted us throughout the season. Considering our discussions before the season even started, our projections.
I do know.
Yeah, so I've been off on my predictions as of the in-conference games for sure. So with this, I was very impressed last week, although I was also extremely disappointed in Sparty's performance. But who isn't? They're struggling mightily this year. But, Hills has been a solid quarterback, and he's not turning the ball over, as you still need to come up with your Anyways, I do have Maryland winning this game. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a lot closer than what the score ends up as. I think the game's going to be really close. Maryland pulls it out for probably 7 to 10 points. So I'll take Maryland 7 to 10 points, but the game's going to be a lot closer than what the score says.
Okay. I like that, and just keying in real quick on what you're saying about Hills. You're right. He is taking care of the football really well, and I had speculation about how well he'd take care of the football, and he was taking care of the football for a while, and then you won a very, very small bet.
Smart bet, he means.
Very small but smart bet against me. But Hills has still taken care of the football well. Like you're saying, if he continues to do that, we have the chance to win football games because of our ability to run the football. We can really maintain the clock. We can hold on to the ball. And I think a lot of that is relying on our quarterback play. And no offense to Pigram, I just think he's not ready for Division I competition yet. And we saw that. He not able to move the football through the air. And if he's trying to, has some struggles, had a couple turnovers, with Hills at command, I feel comfortable. It's weird. I feel comfortable.
I think you feel comfortable because Piram is non-existent seemingly on the football field. This guy can't move the ball if he handed it off, and it's atrocious. Nobody's scared of him. He hands the ball off. They know it's coming.
That's the problem.
He can't throw the pass.
No one's scared of him. Yeah. That's exactly what he said. No one's scared of him. Pigram, you need to start developing yourself as a passer in order to manipulate defenses. To create these opportunities at the run game. With your arm. But still, 5-2, 1 game away from a bowl eligibility. So Maryland's in good shape right now with still some big games to come, but some winnable games to come as well. This one especially, it would be great to see them get over that edge, get bowl eligible, and really kind of reduce some pressure amongst themselves about being able to represent themselves in a bowl game. Let's move on. A little bit of little college basketball news. I know it's a little early, and basketball season doesn't start till November, but we're always kind of watching everything. Mark Turgeon, head coach, Maryland Terrapins, just signed a 4-year deal for $2.5 million per year. Steve, are you excited about this?
I'm neutral.
Cautious, neutral?
Yeah, we've talked about this off air, and I'm not happy with his performance, but I also can't disagree with what you're alluding to, is this guy's a great recruiter.
Great recruiter.
So in that, my say is, if you recruit these kids and they're top quality, show up when it matters. So that's my opinion.
I'm with you, and I couldn't agree more. I think Turgeon is a great recruiter. I mean, look at the talent that he's pulled in. He had Stone, he had Trimble. Like, the guy can pull in talent. There's no doubt about it. But Turgeon, I question some of his coaching decisions. I really have been disappointed with the way he coaches this Maryland basketball team, especially last year's team. I was honestly almost disgusted at times with the way he's coaching this team. And so, you know, I don't know if it's his, his strategy that the players don't get, or if he can't coach his players well enough. But I still have question marks as to if Turgeon can lead this team to bigger games, because it doesn't seem like Maryland can muster up the effort between coach and player to put forth Maryland's best effort and win big games. And so I'm happy in terms of the recruiting aspect of getting Turgeon back, but I wonder about the ability to win any kind of serious game, because I don't know how well our on-court coaching is. I've not been pleased with it, but we can address that later. There's time for that to come. Let's talk another local team, Washington Redskins.
To the Redskins.
To the Skins. Skins right now, 4-3 currently. Just lost to Detroit. Upcoming game against Cincinnati. Let's recap real quick. I don't really want to draw on it too much. Our 4-game win streak was cut short against Detroit after Cousins had a nice little, read option rushing touchdown. Looked like, okay, we're going to rise to the occasion. And, we struggled, we fumbled, we almost we got into the red zone almost every single drive against Detroit and missed a field goal. Fumbled on the 6-inch, half-inch, whatever yard line. Matt Jones holding on the football. But that loss at Detroit was kind of disheartening. A game we probably should have won. Got to give Detroit a little bit of credit. With the clock winding down, they were able to make plays enough to win the football game. But let's move on to Cincinnati. We're playing in London. It's not a home game. It's not an away game. It's a whatever game. According to the books, Cincinnati is the home team. But the game's played in London. What do you see for this game, Steve? What are some things we're gonna have to do in order to win this football game?
Oh, shoot, one, get over the freaking trip. None of these guys are used to going over. I know typically the NFL for the past 4 or 5 seasons have had a game or two over there, but it's typically not the same teams, because they're trying to bring fan bases from all over there.
Yeah, sure.
But in that, honestly, I think if Jordan Reed and Norman can get over there and be healthy and be ready to go on Sunday, I will like our chances a lot more. I know that they're making the trip. So if they make the trip and they feel good going out there, I think if we go out there healthy, I'm not against starting Kelly if Matt Jones isn't ready to go. I know his hands aren't ready to go, but if he's not healthy enough to go, I would still like our chances. We're going to have to stop the run game. Our pass D, I think in the past, 5 or 6 weeks, they've given up 4 or 5 touchdowns. So, I'll take that any day of the week if we're only giving up 1 per. So, in that, I think we have it figured out. Just have to stop the run and get healthy. How do you feel?
This is tough. These London games are very hard to predict. You never know how these players' bodies are going to react, to the travel, to being over there, to whatever, whether it's distractions, whether it's the time, whether it's the lag, whatever the case may be. You never know how these players are going to react to this type of environment. You expect that their adrenaline would be up, they're hyped up, they're playing in a completely different environment where it's like, it's a new chance to showcase yourself, and I'm sure everyone's geeked up. There's no doubt about it. These guys are geeked up. But I think this game can go in 2 different directions. Like Steve alluded to, Norman and Reed are traveling with the team. So they're going to be over there. It's they could play, but they could not play. So I can see this game being a 35-25 Cincinnati win if we don't have either of them play, or I can see it being a 31-30 win for the Redskins if they do play. Because if Norman isn't able to play and go toe-to-toe with Green and get him off balance, I mean, who's going to guard him? Breland, we've seen him get torched already this year. Antonio Brown took care of that pretty quickly. I mean, if these guys aren't healthy, they are keys to our team, and it's hard to win football games. Even though Cincy's record doesn't show how good they are, they're a good football team. This is a good football team. They're a playoff team that's gone to the playoffs several years in a row. They are a good football team. They've had a tough go at it so far early in the year, but they're going to put up a tremendous fight. And like I said, it's simply a matter of how healthy can we be. And I'm fearing if these guys can't go, it could get out of hand. Like, I really feel like they'll just start exposing us over the top, and it will get out of hand, especially for how thin we're already running at the defensive back position. It could get ugly. And, I haven't heard enough about reports. Go ahead.
What I was going to say, I just realized, in the past couple of weeks, because, I just thought Norman was, always good to go. But if this guy's not good to go, we're hurting.
We're hurting.
Yeah, I mean, we're hurting. But he's our most important player.
He is, and based on stats, I've read reports that he has been the best corner in the league so far this year. In terms of pass deflected, in terms of just coverage, in terms of everything.
In terms of his performance history as well, he's only improved, and this is his best season he's ever had.
Exactly. This guy is playing shut down. This guy is locked down. The only time you hear his name is when he's playing Odell Beckham. Otherwise, he's just taking care of business. So, you're right. If this dude can't go, A.J. Green is licking his chops. I mean, this dude is saying, okay, let's get it if this guy can't go. And it's, and I don't know. Like, they haven't said anything. And so I have two different outcomes for this game, for the Skins. And like I said, one is 25-35. I got Cincinnati beating us because our rush defense isn't good anyway. And then if we're healthy, 31-30. I think we can hang with these guys, and I think Cousins is starting to gel a little bit, and when he has his target read, we're good, and I think that fuels our defense as well. And so, those are my two options. You got any scores for me, Stevie? What do you got for this? One score?
I'll give you a score. It's not going to be pretty. I'll give you 30 to 28, the Bengals, because I think their offense is too mature for our defense. And, whether they ram it down our throats with Jeremy Hill or with a scat back with Gio, I don't think that our run defense, whether it be a scat back or a power run, can handle that. So it's not I have any doubt on our offense or Josh Norman in that, but if you can't stop the run, you can't dictate the game. So I'm going to go with the Bengals. Unfortunately, I don't want them to win, obviously, but I'll go with the Bengals 30-28.
Fair enough. Bengals are a good team, and sometimes the better team wins, and that's the way it goes. Well, we got more to talk about. We're going to talk a little more college football. We got some World Series to talk about, baseball. But before we get any further, we're going to take our first break. Give a shout out to Silver Spring Social Sports. Don't go anywhere. You're watching The Jam. Welcome back, Jammers and Jamettes. Big shout out again to Silver Spring Social Sports, another one of our sponsors. Silver Spring Social Sports is a 21 and up social sports league. If you want to get involved, you can go to silverspringsocialsports.com. You can sign up for sports such as dodgeball, kickball, volleyball, soccer, football. If any of that sounds interesting, like I said, Go to silverspringsocialsports.com. 21 and up league again. Feel free to get involved. Come out and play, people. So let's move on, Stevie, to our next subject. We're going to talk a little bit of college football. Some more playoff implications coming up. Big matchups. Really, resume building type stuff that we have coming up. And I want to talk a little bit about, top 25 stuff, college football playoff stuff. Who has the chance? Who's on that bubble borderline? Who can fight for a chance? Who we see making a run and who doesn't. So I want to start by asking you, West Virginia is the first team I have for you. Currently undefeated. Do they still have a chance to squeeze in? They have games at Texas versus Oklahoma and then versus Baylor. Do they have a chance? Are they going to do this?
Are they going to do it? No, I don't think so. Do they have a chance? Yes. If they can run the table, you can't deny them the fact that they're undefeated. And, if you finish the season undefeated, you can't take that away from somebody. And they're in a Power 5. So, undefeated season with Dub V versus Western Michigan team, is, rocks and feathers. More rocks and feathers.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue that at all.
So.
No offense to Western Michigan fans, Dan Evans, I apologize. But yeah, West Virginia is on a different level. But I think I'm with you on this one. I just think they haven't proven enough to me to think they're going to get through these games. I mean, you got an Oklahoma team that has a lot of pride. That was ranked 3rd to start the season, has fallen back to 16th. I don't think they want to lose the Big 12. I think they're still angry about what has happened to them so far this season, and I think they really want to be like, hey, look, anyone who's going to try and represent for us, it's going to be no one but us. And I think that's going to be a tough game for them. And then also playing Baylor, I don't see it happening. Next team. Yeah, absolutely. Next team, though, Florida State, ranked 12th at the moment. Still has games coming up this weekend versus number 3 Clemson, and then finishes off the season against number 14 Florida. Do they have any kind of chance?
Kind of a chance? Yes. But no, not really. I think they get dogged this weekend. Clemson.
5%?
5%? I'll give you 5%. I'll give you 10%.
Oh, so
I'll give you 10%.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
I'll give you 10%.
Okay.
Well, minus 1%, so 9 for that. 9%. But I do think they do get routed this weekend. Their defense is atrocious. Clemson's ready for these games. Clemson's looked very sketchy. Sketchy is a bad word for lack of a better term, but they haven't executed as well as they should have in many games this year. But I think Florida State's defense is so atrocious that Clemson just has a field day with them, and after that, we don't even need to worry about the Florida game. So,
okay, I'm gonna have to definitely agree with you on that one. I think Clemson has been a very unpredictable team so far this year. And, they finally found, in my opinion, a little bit of stability. They were able to get through Louisville, and they started looking like a legitimate team. And then they came against an NC State team that actually is really good. I mean, NC State, a lot of people don't understand that
their record does not reflect how good
it doesn't reflect how good they are. They are a really, really good football team. They were able to knock out Clemson's starting running back, and I think that really limited Clemson's ability to move the football, to run the football and then open up the passing for Watson. I think once the running back was gone, NC State had one thing in mind, and that was just literally just bring tons of pressure because they're not going to run it past us. We're not worried about that at all, and I think that played a huge factor. He's going to be back. He's going to be back this week. So Florida State's going to have to deal with the fact that now they can run the football alongside with the fact that they can pass the football. And obviously their defense, like you said, hasn't proven that they can do any of that. They can't stop any of that. So you're right. Florida State is done. I'm sorry, James Island. I'm throwing out some names here, but your Florida State Seminoles are done. They are going to be done for this year. They'll still make a bowl game, obviously, but don't get your aspirations up too high. It's over. Chingy.
Give me
Game
the team they
over.
play in the bowl game. I'll take them.
Come on.
I'll take them.
No, okay. That's fair, but I can't
I'm
tell
not
you.
asking you to name the team. I'm telling you, hopefully it's not a Power 5, and I'll take them.
Okay, Houston.
Houston, 100%. Easy money.
I'm going to definitely take this recording and save it. I'm interested to see if I'm right. Moving on. Florida. Another Florida team, and we have FSU. Now we have right across the way in Gainesville, Florida. Still has at number 19, LSU, and at number 12, Florida State, which we alluded to their ineptities.
Yes, we're going to not a chance. Or is that hashtag?
Hashtag losing.
Hashtag no playoffs.
Oh.
But on that, I think they have a tough schedule. They're a good team. Don't get me wrong. I think that they are overrated for their ranking.
Yeah, 5-1, only lost to Tennessee.
Yeah, in disgusting fashion.
Disgusting fashion.
They were up 21 points, if I'm not mistaken.
They should have won that football.
Yeah, and then it became I thought everybody laid down. But yeah, they lost 38-28 at Neyland. It was not a good game for them. Tennessee was going crazy. I've seen so many snaps and videos of that, growing up in Tennessee. So a lot of my friends were at the game, if they didn't leave already. Did you see the video of the kids who left at halftime having a fit about it?
I haven't, but I've seen videos of Miami Heat fans who left early and then Ray Allen started hitting threes.
Yeah, well, way bigger scene.
Okay.
Way bigger scene.
Okay,
But
okay.
that's no. Aside from that, no. I think Florida showed up. They should have won the game against Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
But I think their immaturity in playing in games like that is going to affect them down the stretch.
All right, so I'm looking at this and I'm just kind of like scatterbrained. Let's say they were 6-0. Let's say they won that game against ranked 7 ranked 9 whatever ranked Tennessee. Let's say they won that game against ranked Tennessee. And they're 6-0 right now, and they still have LSU and Florida State. Are you that impressed with them to be like, okay? Or are you like, okay, they beat Tennessee, but now Tennessee's lost to Alabama in disgusting fashion, and whatever else has taken place, would you still give them a chance?
A chance, no, because I think they lose by a significant margin to the Tigers.
Okay, well,
The LSU Tigers, obviously.
but they still only have one loss.
But they lose in fashion that Florida State did to Louisville.
But they might have a chance to represent themselves in the SEC championship against
And then they lose
the Tide.
to... I'm not doing laundry.
Okay.
So, no.
All right, you hear... You heard it right here, folks. Get your fabric softener out because Florida
will not be rolling Tide.
No, they will not be. They will not be.
No
All right.
laundry that week.
One of the most perplexing teams for me right now. Let's move on to LSU. The Tigers still has games against Florida. Still has games against Bama next week. We're going to talk more about that next week. Still has games against A&M to finish up the season. Their last game, final regular season game, is against A&M. Does this LSU team at number 19 have a chance to make some kind of splash and have a resume that is arguable for the college football playoff?
Yes, only if they win out. Because I think as soon as they drop the third L, whether it be to any of the teams that you mentioned, outside of that, I think it's easy cake. Even outside of that, I think it's easy cake except for the Bama game. I think Bama is head and shoulders above the rest right now, so I'm not sure who's going to take them down. But in that, I'm very impressed with LSU's offense the past couple weeks with their new head coach. Disappointed to see Les Miles go, but in that, I do think LSU's on the right track. I was severely mistaken. I thought they would take a hit, but their offense is definitely firing on all cylinders. And I think that the only reason they don't make it is because they lose to Bama.
I agree. Well, wait, I don't agree on that. I agree that they've fought back and they have impressed me as well. I thought this season was going to go extremely south for LSU, but they've really managed to get themselves together. So congratulations to that. That team, the AD, the interim head coach, and that football team to stay focused. I mean, Les Miles is a tremendous coach, but obviously it wasn't working with this squad, and it was time. But either way, they look a lot more focused than they did when they lost to Wisconsin the first game of the season. They had another loss to Auburn, and just didn't look good, didn't look sharp. They're starting to look a little bit more confident and a little bit more sharp. And we're going to talk more about this game against Bama next week. But, man, if they reel off that win against Alabama, who knows what happens in terms of their confidence.
That's what I'm saying, because when you were alluding to earlier, or what you were alluding to earlier, you said this is a resume building time.
Yeah.
This is a resume killing time, in my opinion.
Well,
you can lose in week 1. You can lose in week 4. You lose now, good luck getting caught up in the rankings, because you can be a top 4, top 5 team. You lose 3 weeks before the season's over. Still win your conference championship, and then only be at 6,
okay,
5 or 6.
Okay, I hear that. But let's talk. So you're saying is LSU gonna? Okay, I agree. If they lose to Alabama, it's over for them. But I think they still have a chance. I'm saying
That's what I said. If they beat Bama, they have a chance. And you said you don't agree with me, is what you said.
No, I'm sorry. I guess I do agree that they have a chance if they beat Alabama. Obviously, yes. That boists their resume a ton. That helps them out tremendously. I'm not sure exactly what you said. There's something that you said at the end of that where I was like,
maybe I put them in.
I
put them in.
I think you said maybe they'll lose, and I was like, I don't think they lose. Like, hold on now. Like,
no, if they win out, they definitely have a shot.
Fair enough. I agree fully. With 3 ranked teams left on their resume, if they do win out with 2 losses, it's going to be hard to keep them out, especially considering that other teams have some other mountains to climb as well. So this LSU team, it's a big question mark for them. They are in control of their own destiny, but obviously if they slip up, done.
Right.
Obviously done. So let's move on. Another SEC team. Let's talk about Auburn. They're sitting there kind of in no man's land right now at 14. Losses against A&M and also losses against Clemson. So they have some top losses to some credible teams to their defense. But in my opinion, if you want to represent and you want to be one of those elite teams, you got to win these games. Like, oh, okay, well, we only lost to Clemson and we only lost to A&M. Well, why didn't you beat them? Like, then obviously you're not better than them. Their last resume builder is against Alabama. Otherwise, they have nothing on the schedule that is that tough that they shouldn't win. No other games that they aren't favored to win until that game against Alabama, which is at Alabama in Birmingham. But either way, what do you see for this Auburn team? Do they have any kind of chance? Even if they reel off that win against Alabama with 2 losses, A&M and Clemson, what do you see?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to sit them out. Their schedule hasn't been something that I've been impressed by. SEC. Everybody eats up SEC. You have to play these teams. That are within your conference, but SEC is not as strong as it has been in the past couple years. They lost, as you alluded to, A&M. As well as Clemson. Mm-hmm. So, if somehow they even take care of Bama, I don't think it's happening for the Tigers.
I agree. I just think that win against Alabama is gonna be kind of a cherry on top of
could have some complications.
It's
or implications, I should say.
Well,
implications.
It's going to change some bowl implications.
If
There's
they,
no doubt
if
about
they
it.
win, that could be some big college football implications.
If they win that last game against Alabama, that's going to stir the pot for the college football playoff. There's no doubt about it. Whether or not Auburn has anything to do with getting in, I don't think so. But in terms of Alabama, possibly.
I'm just trying to make it exciting for Auburn.
No. You're right. Let's say Alabama loses to LSU and then they lose that game to Auburn. I mean, it does start getting very interesting. And I guarantee Auburn wants nothing more than to make something like that happen and to stir the pot. Guarantee it. War Eagle. Like, they are definitely down to try and make that interesting.
Talk about that kick return, 108 yards.
Davis.
Yo.
At the 110-yard line, taking it back to the house, 109. But no, that was so much fun. But I think, even barring that win, nope, not in my opinion.
I'd agree with you
for
sure.
Auburn. Next team, Wisconsin. Whiskey ranked 11 in the nation right now, takes on number 7 Nebraska this weekend. Very big matchup at home. Projected to win, even though they're the lesser seed. Projected to win. Does this team have a chance at representing, themselves in the Big Ten in the playoff?
I believe that they do. The way that they play, they've lost to teams that are quality teams. More than quality teams.
Number 2 Michigan and number 6 Ohio State. Are they good?
I don't know. I've never heard of them, but
average.
Yeah. Anyways, in that, that's the toughest schedule that I've seen. I can't think of a tougher schedule that anybody's faced.
Well, they opened up against LSU.
Yeah, which they won.
And they won.
Yeah, they were unranked and went up to 11.
They jumped up high. They jumped up high. And I'm not here to talk about how I feel like the college football is.
I'm with you. That was the only.
But yeah, they've played number 2 right now, ranked Michigan, which they lost by 7, and then played number 6 Ohio State and lost by 7.
Overtime.
And that was in overtime. So they've played tremendously hard against some of the top-ranked opponents. Even though they have 2 losses, this is kind of coming out of left field. Are they the best 2-loss team?
Oh, I think hands down. Hands down. I mean, if you lose to the number 2 team by a touchdown, and you lose the number 6 team as of now, they were 4 last week, in overtime by a touchdown. I think it's.
Wait, who? Ohio State was 2 last week. Who?
Oh, they were 2 last week.
Yeah, they were 2 last week.
No. What were they when they played? I think they were 4.
Oh, okay.
When they played, they were 4.
I think that's what Boyce did. Ohio State.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I think it's hands down easily the best 2-loss team, for sure.
No doubt about it. I think this Wisconsin team definitely still has a chance to prove themselves, and even though they have 2 losses, I just somehow think they still have a chance. They beat this Nebraska team and most likely take over like the 7 spot in that conference, and they can keep fighting until Michigan and Ohio State have to go toe-to-toe against each other. And one of them is going to have 1 loss. And most likely Wisconsin is going to represent their side of the conference and have to play against Michigan or Ohio State again. And obviously they have a chance to do it. They only lost by 7 to both in very tight fashion. This is going to be interesting for the Big Ten.
Who do you have in the neutral field? Who do you have?
At the moment,
if it ended up Wisconsin versus.
I just don't think Wisconsin has enough wide receiver play to get them over the edge. I don't think they have enough big playability. I think they're tough. I think they're so tough. They're one of the toughest teams in college football. Man, they play some really good defense. and they run the ball
Big man
hard.
up front for sure.
Oh man, they are up front, physical, and typically the most physical team tends to win. But eventually you got to make some pretty big plays, and I think Michigan and I think Ohio State has bigger playability in them than Wisconsin,
So
and
history is no mistake.
history is no mistake. Going back to tradition, it's either going to be or it's going to be OSU winning that one in my opinion. But I think Wisconsin has every chance to to represent themselves and represent the Big Ten in the college football playoff. You know, if they take care of their business. So barring whatever happens, if they just run the table and take care of their business, man, I think they definitely have a resume that that says check, you're in.
Yeah, kudos to them. They've had a very good season.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, they've been fantastic. So let me ask you this, Stevie: who isn't getting enough respect in the top 25?
I'm gonna have to go with Texas A&M.
A&M.
Yeah, they're ranked number 9. Their only loss was at Bama. At Bama, 33-14. That's a tough road game. Tuscaloosa is something else. So, in that, if that's their only loss, and like I mentioned earlier, and you're in agreement with me, the SEC isn't what it used to be. But if you have one loss and it's to the best team in the land who goes out every week and routs everybody, by more than this, and you go to their place and the game wasn't great for A&M, but it wasn't terrible. They picked up things that they could have done better. As did Bama, because that's how Nick Saban works. But I think A&M learned a lot more than Bama did. Bama kind of went through their motions, and A&M said, "Hey, does this work? Does this work?" I think they took it as a test to their ability to play in the big games, and in that, I think that they performed very, very well playing at Alabama.
I gotta give them credit. I think they did as well. They hung through the first half, hung very very tight, and then Alabama has always seems to find a way to score some kind of big. I hate to use this word obscure, but some kind of
Accurate.
big touchdown that
unconventional.
That is
it's not unconventional, but
for them it's
there,
not.
There's so many ways to score a touchdown. There are only so many ways, but it's not a conventional way. You don't run the ball in, you don't throw the ball in. It's special teams.
They have special. Alabama
recovery.
just has contribution from everywhere, and it's no knock on them, but a lot of other teams don't have the depth at talent that Alabama has, where you have defensive players able to make pick sixes,
to make wide receiver plays.
And
they go up and make wide receiver plays, and they have the agility of a scat back. It's ridiculous.
And punt returners, kick returners, who are ready to take it to the house. It's tough because every single play you have to play as hard as you can against the best team. And it's not like you can take any plays off. It's not like they're the best team because they're really good at this or they're really good at that. They're really good at everything. And you can't take a single play off if you want to take them down. Like, you have to play just as tough and be just as disciplined to beat this team. They're absolutely incredible. So, Stevie, you're right. That loss that A&M encountered is a loss that pretty much everyone in the nation is gonna take. And so, yeah, they might be slightly underrated, not getting enough respect. They possibly should be a little bit higher in consideration based on the fact that they played Alabama at Alabama and put up a fight and lost to a team that is tremendous, like a tremendous football team. But I'm gonna go with my 5-2 lost Wisconsin team. I think this Wisconsin team is so freaking tough. I love the effort they put forth every single week, and at 2 losses, still being like we said, they're the best 2-loss team. And if they had a slightly simpler schedule, they were able to take down an LSU team with Fournette.
Yeah.
This team has talent, tremendous talent. They just, they caught back-to-back games against top 5 opponents, and they didn't come out on top. But that is, I feel like they're not getting enough respect, even though they are. I think people do give them respect. Obviously, they're supposed to win by 9, as an 11 seed playing a 7 seed this weekend. Vegas gives them respect, but in terms of top 25,
100% agreed.
I think they're not getting enough respect. Who do you think is slightly overrated? Slightly kind of like.
I'm gonna go with the Knowles. Yeah, as we were talking earlier, they got dogged by Louisville. I think it was 43 points. Well, yeah, 63-20, and then they lost to UNC, who was unranked at the time. So in that, it's their defense is terrible. That's the reason that they're not getting any respect from me, and the reason they're not getting respect from everybody else in the college football community. They're giving up 30 points a game, it seems like, and it's to teams that you think twice about, or you don't think twice about, excuse me. So if you're going into a game that you're like, oh, this is typically a let's work on some things, they're going in there saying, oh God, we need to not give up 40 points. So in that, I think they're definitely overrated. They should not be in the top 20, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you look at them, they have 2 losses, just like we were saying about Wisconsin. Wisconsin's 11, and they're 12. I can't agree with you more about that, Stevie. I mean, I feel like I shouldn't even, say anything but FSU, but I am going to say something else. I agree with you that they are overrated. I mean, come on, that is a joke that they're number 12. This BCS ranking system is an absolute joke. But I think I'm going to go with number 7, Nebraska. I just feel like they haven't presented a good enough resume. It's a clean resume, and kudos to them and their program and what they've done. But I just don't think it's a resume that I'm that impressed with. And I don't think they should be ranked that high. I don't think they should be at 7. I could put a couple teams ahead of them. One being Wisconsin.
Okay, hypothetically, if they take care of business this weekend, Nebraska beats Wisconsin, where do you put Nebraska?
That does change things. Let me tell you.
Where would you put them?
Hold on. Let me tell you what Nebraska has done so far this year, in terms of how good they are. They beat number 22 Oregon. Okay.
Yeah, light work.
Exactly. That's it. Done.
Okay, they beat your most underrated team, the number 11 team in the nation, who's only lost to number 2 and number 6. Well, they beat that team.
Okay, well that is much different. I don't think that's going to happen. Next week, if you say
okay, fair.
Okay.
Touche.
I'm saying as of right now, the number 7 team in the nation has beat number 22 Oregon, but not even ranked anymore. Oregon, they have no top 25 victories. None. Northwestern isn't ranked. Illinois isn't ranked. Indiana isn't ranked. Purdue isn't ranked. Fresno State isn't ranked. Wyoming isn't ranked. And Oregon is no longer ranked. They've beat no ranked teams this year, and they're ranked 7th. I mean, I understand they have a clean resume. And props, just like I said, props to their organization. Please don't get mad at us. I applaud what you guys have done so far this year. You've taken down the competition that has been put in front of you. But I think when you face a Wisconsin team that has seen tremendous competition this year, you are about to get a slap in the face. It's going to be different for you, Nebraska.
How ugly is it going to be?
It's going to be ugly, in my opinion, especially at Wisconsin. The spread's 9. I'll take over.
All right, you heard it here first.
I'll take over. I just,
Best bets. Whiskey -9.
I mean, this Wisconsin team is tough, man. They're angry. They played LSU tough against Fournette. They played Fournette tough when Fournette is just running over kids in the SEC. Wisconsin played them extremely tough and beat them. And, Nebraska doesn't have anything like that. They have nothing on their resume to say we should be number 7, except for the fact that they haven't lost. They have nothing on their resume. So
I'd have to agree with you.
Who's getting too much credit? Huskers, take a seat. Too much. Let's move on. Baseball. World Series.
Baseball.
Big time. Cubs, Indians, squared up, 1-1 right now. My projection, start of the series, Indians in 6. Like I said, right now, 1-1. Both teams have had good outings. One bad, one good. Next matchup, Game 3. Cubs have Hendricks going. Indians have Tomlin going. Now, this is in Chicago. What do you see happening for the rest of the series now it's squared up, Stevie?
Now it's squared up. Well, let me give you my pre-series projection.
Okay.
Or prediction. It was Nats 4-0, but we didn't get there for some reason. Anyways, but our GM says, hey, great season, except it sucked at the end. You're telling us something that we've known for years. Thanks. In that, I'm rooting for the Indians only because I'm tired of hearing about the Cubs. Steve Bartman, you're more than welcome to come on our show and talk about the Cubs.
Stevie!
No, in talking about the Cubs, yes, they haven't been to, or they haven't won a World Series since 1908. The Indians bullpen, including their, pitching in general, has been phenomenal in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Miller won the ALCS MVP.
Yeah.
But I can't. They're going back to Chicago for 3 games. It's 1-1. Cubs' best pitcher for most of the season, outside of the second half, outside of the first half. So essentially the best season overall in Hendricks will get this start. So I'm going to side with the Cubs here, and then Arrieta and Hendricks are going to pitch another time. I'm going with the Cubs in 6.
Cubs in 6. Very interesting. Let me give you my little prequel to this whole thing as well. I loved Game 1. Game 1 I loved. Their base running was incredible. This is one reason why I like the Indians. Their base running was absolutely incredible. They got players on base, and they flustered Lester and had them all, that they were stealing and acting like they were going to steal, and it was great.
He's the easiest person to see on.
And he is, and so
baseball.
exactly, and so their base running combined with his inability to pick off anyone,
throw the ball to first base.
Exactly, it was perfect. It was the perfect combo. It was a perfect storm for the Indians to win, and they did. But Game 2 was very disgusting pitching wise for the Indians. Couldn't throw a strike. I mean, literally, they couldn't throw a strike. They walked so many batters, it was ridiculous. You can't put players on base like that in the World Series. I mean,
I think he had 6 walks, did he not? Yeah,
it was terrible.
6 walks. 6 walks and 3 and 2/3.
It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible pitching. And if it's gonna be like that for the rest of the World Series, if they're gonna put runners on base like that, Cubs easily. I hope that won't happen. I hope they'll settle down and throw strikes. I mean, they literally couldn't throw strikes. They walked in runs. The bases were juiced, and they threw 4 straight balls. It was terrible. Absolutely horrible pitching from the Indians, and I don't think that's going to continue. I really don't.
You could kind of say the same thing for the Cubs in the first game. They gave up 2 in the first inning on some sloppy play. So
And that's true. So both teams have
they've beaten themselves essentially to start off the game, and then the bullpens, have kind of done their duty.
fair enough. It's a clean series right now with the Cubs having 3 home games and the Indians having 2 road games. Both teams have looked good at times and looked bad at times. I agree with you on that. But let me ask you this. Do you think it's going to be detrimental that now, based on reports, I don't know if this is going to be official, based on reports, they say Kyle Schwarber is not healthy enough to play the field. So he is not going to get as many at-bats in Chicago. He's going to have to pinch hit when they replace their pitchers. Do you think this is going to slow down the Cubs batting? I mean, he's batting .500 right now, and a lot of that was last night. A lot of that was their last game. But do you think maybe that could be like, if he can't get going, none of them can get going.
I think it's definitely going to affect with their mojo, because I think he's the one that got them going, and now the series is it is in their favor.
Obviously.
So I think if he got hot going into Cleveland, and the positions were switched where it was 2-3-2, and Cleveland was in the middle, which, if I can give my opinion, I think 2-3-2 is ridiculous. I don't know why it's 2-2-1-1-1, but aside from that, I'm gonna go with thinking that Cubs are at home. They win at home. Their defense is the best in baseball at home, and then everybody's more comfortable hitting at home because you know the park, the lights. You see kind of how the ball comes out of the pitcher's hand. So I think this is. I don't want to say it, but the Cubs are going to have to lose this.
I feel like you're right. I think the Cubs, were able to break the Indians at home, and I think that was huge for them. I think being able to get one win on the road was absolutely massive. Not only that, they won in pretty nice fashion. It wasn't like they needed some kind of miracle to win that game. They dominated that game. And I'm very worried about what that's going to do to the ego of the Indians. I really am. I think this could get out of hand, especially at home. Now the Cubs are returning home. I think this could get out of hand for the Indians if they don't if they don't win either the next game or Game 4. I mean, you can just about write it off. It might be in 5, just because I think the Cubs are that dominant. Obviously, they were the top team in the MLB all year, and so if they are able to get such a comfortable lead, I think they can just smile. They can just smile. They can just coast. And so the Indians, I think there's a lot of pressure on them to either win Game 3 or win Game 4, and in any effort to keep the Cubs guessing, keep the Cubs thinking maybe we won't be able to get over the hump and break the curse and whatever the case may be. They need to win one of these next 2 games to at least scare them and be like, all right, they're still here. We need to settle down and play well. But if the Cubs win the next 2, I think you could write it off. You could definitely write it off.
I have to agree with you. I mean, I think, as much as the Cubs dominated, I think the Indians, kind of self-destructed in Game 2. But in that, the Cubs are so good at home. I don't want to say it's a wrap. They're going to leave there with, I'm going to say 3-2 going back to Cleveland. Mm-hmm. You know how money works. Maybe a Game 7, but I'll take the Cubs.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
No.
Okay.
We don't live in caves, do we?
Okay. I think the Cubs is a good bet, and as of right now, I think I'll still take the Indians in 7. I think their lapse in pitching was a formality. I mean, I think they'll find ways to throw strikes that they didn't. It was a terrible pitching performance for the Indians in Game 2. I don't see that happening again. And that's the only reason why I think the Cubs were able to put up runs because they had runners on base, able to get singles that advanced runners into scoring position and or scored them off some pretty big singles and or doubles. But I think the Indians, it's very solvable for them. It's not like you guys got hit. You weren't getting rocked. You put them in position to beat you, and they did. It's that simple. Don't put them in position to beat you like Game 1, and they won't. So, in my opinion, I still have the Indians. I think I'm going to stretch it back to 7 now. But I still have the Indians winning this series because I think that is something that they can control. It's simply throwing strikes. Like, I think these pitchers at the major league level can handle throwing strikes. Can you? Can you handle throwing strikes, pitchers? Step up. Indians, let's go. In 7.
Is this confident enough for you to put a friendly wager on it?
Okay. What are we putting?
I'm asking. I don't know.
Should we
lead up to the fans?
We lead up to the fans. I'm very comfortable with what I'm saying,
Okay.
and we'd love to hear your guys' impact and your input on how you feel about our predictions. Obviously, Stevie taking the Cubs, myself taking the Indians. What do you guys think? And what kind of wager would you like, Stevie?
I say we lead up to the fans again.
And you guys tell us what the loser is going to have to do. Please keep it PG for Stevie. I'll feel bad for him. Please keep it PG for Stevie.
Goodness.
I will feel bad. Okay, but no, that's good because this is going to be fun. So let's move on. Like the Caps, basketball season, NHL season just started as well. I want to go over this real quick. NBA season just started. There's not much to talk about outside of there's been a couple fun matchups, and everyone's kind of hyped up with the Warriors, of course. Yada, yada, Warriors. Kevin Durant now playing for the Warriors.
Boo.
Boo. Yeah, everyone. He's the enemy now, of course. Warriors lost their first game.
Got dogged their first game.
Thank you for that clarification, Stevie.
Yes. 29 points is a lot of points.
Warriors got dogged their first game
They did.
against the Spurs.
They got outscored by 30%.
I think they got outscored by about 30%, if I was going to round up. 129 to 100. The Warriors, obviously didn't click, didn't hit a lot of threes. Took a lot of threes, didn't hit them. But they're kind of a live or die by the 3 type team anyway. And I'm not taking a lot into this. I'm sure. Okay, go ahead.
I am because
you're
they
excited,
shot
obviously.
they shot the ball pretty well.
Not from distance.
Oh, but they shot percentage-wise, they shot pretty well.
Well, that may be.
But every time Golden State went on a run, Pop called a timeout, slowed it down. They answered. Very well done by Popovich.
Oh, well, I don't expect anything less. I really don't.
I think that was rubbing it in their face, and I think the Warriors don't make the finals this year.
Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves. It's been like
I'm not getting ahead of myself. I'm going to say the Warriors do not make the finals this year as of today. Write it down.
Hold on.
Fans, listen.
Talk while I write this down. I need to write some stuff.
The
So
Warriors,
fill us in.
I'll tell you word for word. The Warriors will not make the NBA finals looking like they are right now.
Well, looking like they are. What do you mean?
Playing
are
like
they going to make it or are they not going to make it? Sure, if they play crap, they're not going to make it. But are they going to make it or are they not going to make it?
I'm not confident in them making it.
So yes or no? No finals?
Okay, I'm not going to tell you no.
But what do you mean?
I'm not going to say no.
You just said no.
They look like they're not going to.
Well, yeah, if they play
And if they did what they do all season, like they played, they're going to win a lot of games, but they won't make the finals.
Okay. Let me bring this in real quick. The Warriors only scored 100 points in their last game. Stevie, would you agree with me? If they're only going to score 100 points a game, they will not make the finals.
No.
They can still make the finals, only scoring 100 points a game.
Oh, the final? Well,
the NBA Finals, scoring 100 points a game.
Depends if their defense steps up.
But do you think their defense will? I mean, they gave 129 their first
The
game.
Spurs are good.
Okay.
I'm more impressed by the Spurs.
Stevie, I don't care how they play. Will the Warriors make the finals? Do you want to put yourself out there for that right now?
I will say 65% they do not.
So I need a yes or I need a no.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Then I will not write it down because he's agreeing with everyone that they will make the finals. And
That's weak.
well, I mean,
It's not a yes or no. It's after the first game.
well, yeah, but you were just getting you were getting all excited and you were like, they will make the finals. And I'm like, okay, well, you're gonna have to like explain that.
And I explained it.
You said, yeah, if they play like this, they won't make the finals. And I agree fully with you, but I don't think they're gonna continue to play like this.
Okay, I will put more eggs in the Spurs basket than I will the Warriors.
So the Warriors have a 65 because you said 65% chance,
Because injuries and all that other stuff.
and that's fair.
If they're healthy, I'll take the Spurs over the Warriors. If that's out on a limb enough for you. As long as they're healthy, I'll take the Spurs over the Warriors.
I'll make note. I will make note of that.
So, no, they will not. No, they will not make the NBA Finals.
There it is. Now we got down to an actual like statement. No, they will not make it. You heard it right there.
So
folks.
long as teams are healthy. So long as teams are healthy.
There you go. Let's hope they all stay healthy. Let's move on to our famous Washington Wizards.
The Zards.
The Zards
Ugh.
got off to a tremendous start of not winning against
Surprise.
against Atlanta. We lost 99-114. Hung in there for a while, and Atlanta's a good team. I gotta give Atlanta credit. They're better, at the moment for sure. Especially on paper, they're better than we are. I don't know.
What's your takeaway from this game then?
My takeaway from this game is we are like a 5 seed. Cavaliers are a 1 seed, Atlanta's a 2 seed, and we're like a 5 seed.
Wow, you're way higher on us than I am.
I mean, who's ahead of us?
I think we're fighting for 7 or 8.
Okay, so who's ahead of us?
Pretty much everybody in the Eastern Conference, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, there's only room for so many.
Right.
There's only room for 12.
What do you mean 8?
Oh, 8.
Yeah.
Well, but I meant 8, but like
Yeah, I think that we're in the bottom.
we're in the bottom 8.
No, we're in the bottom 4. No, 8. Yes.
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 Okay. I disagree.
Okay.
It's our first game.
Who do we have that's good besides John Wall?
Bradley Beal is good when he's healthy. When he's healthy.
Yeah,
when
he
he's healthy.
puts up 17 points a game. Whoa, that's gonna fucking make it freaking make a difference. I apologize.
You're right. That will make a freaking difference.
I apologize, fans.
But I mean, who else is gonna put up points for us?
Yeah, he's scoring 17 by default because nobody else is on our team that's good.
Well, yeah, but like, I mean, Otto Porter is like, he's
we
not.
are playing with a whole bunch of good college players. We don't have anybody that's quality. Gortat's our second best player.
Yeah, just because he's Mr. Do Everything. But
We are terrible.
we are not terrible.
Terrible.
We are not
Terrible,
that bad
Bradley.
at all.
We're terrible.
We are not that bad at all. So how do we have the lead at halftime against an Atlanta team? We were magically doing work.
I'm sorry, I forgot that we played 4 quarters.
You did, but like,
Okay.
I mean, in order to like,
Remember when Oregon was down last year by about 35 points at halftime, and they came back and won?
yes.
So people play the full game. They don't play the first half.
Well, this is the NBA, but that is college. But either way,
But it's a game.
it is a game.
And you played the full time of the
You
game.
play the full time. And if you're a legitimate team, you hang in games as long as you can, and
The Wizards are bad.
and then talent overtakes you. It's one game. We're 0-1. We're 0-1.
We're not good.
In 10 games, we will be above 500. I'll take that bet right now against Stevie.
Above 500, I will take that bet.
Okay. So there it is, right there.
So 5-5, I win.
Yes. Yep. We will be 6-4 at
Thank
least.
you very much.
At least. In our next 9 games, we will win 6 and lose 3.
Good math.
Thank you. Educated over here.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's early in the season, so we lost 1 game, whatever. The East is always, of recent years, has been an topsy-turvy type thing where you win a couple games, you move up tremendously. You lose a couple games, you could slide down tremendously. There's no dominant team outside of the Cavaliers. Can we agree with that? Toronto.
Don't say Toronto's up there.
We'll give Toronto.
Chicago's going to be up there for sure.
Okay, wow. Chicago's going to be up there, minus the loss of all their players, but they're going to be
except for D Wade.
Okay, except for 1 player.
Don't hate on my man.
I'm not hating. I just I await the
Butler, Rondo, and Wade is going to be a bad team in the East.
First of all,
let's get it together.
Rondo is the new TO. He's team obliterator.
Oh, turnover, team obliterator.
Not turnover. Terrell Owens, team obliterator. He's the new team obliterator. He is not a team player. He destroys teams. I
thought that was Boogie.
Boogie is still.
Boogie can have an issue with his coach and still be there. So
Boogie's still holding down the work. Somehow Rondo's gone. Why is Rondo gone and Boogie's still there? Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah, you can't replace a big man. You can replace point.
It's not even that. It's they had more of an issue with Rondo than they did with Boogie, and we know Boogie's problems. Everyone knows his problems. All right, can we move on?
Wizards are bad, yes.
Wizards are not bad. They're 0-1. They will be 6-4 in 10 games, if not better.
Percent chance.
Percent chance is 100. Let me put a couple ones and zeros ahead of that. Percent chance is 100. We'll see. It's hard to tell this team's gonna jive, but I would not say they're terrible. I would say they definitely still have a playoff chance. This team has a playoff chance in the East. Can
you put us at a 5 seed? Now you're putting us at a playoff chance.
I mean, 5 seed is a low. That's a lowish.
I don't even know if we're gonna make the playoffs.
I think we'll definitely make the playoffs.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're probably a 5 seed if we're healthy.
I don't think that we make the playoffs.
Well, I think Wall and Beal can get us to the postseason with Gortat in the East. I mean, the East is not.
Let me find that confidence somewhere. Shoot.
I mean, just look at the East. It's that simple. Look at the East.
Look at our team.
Yeah, but who's gonna beat us?
Who are we gonna beat?
Everyone else almost.
The freaking Sixers. We don't play them every game.
They're horrible.
That's what I'm saying. We don't play them every game.
I wish we did. That'd be great. All right. We got some NFL stuff to talk about. But before we do, we're going to take one more break. Big shout out to our next sponsor, Junk Masters. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Jam. Welcome back, Jammer fans. Another big shout out to our sponsor, Junk Masters. For all your junk removal needs, just call Junk Masters. Our business is picking up. Okay, moving on. Let's talk some NFL, and let's talk some fantasy football. Everyone loves to hear about that.
Absolutely.
Everyone's worried about their rosters every single week. So fantasy is a huge, huge thing to talk about. So let's dive right into it. Let's get into our fantasy fast 5. Quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, close matchups. I'm going to shoot them off to you. You give me your fantasy fast 5 answers, and then I'll give you mine for your questions.
Okay.
All right? And little friendly thing going on. We're going to keep tally of who gets the most right of their fantasy fast 5 matchups. So, Stevie, I want to start with Dak Prescott versus Philadelphia or Carson Wentz versus Dallas.
Great question. I'm going to go with. That's a good one. I'm going to go with Carson Wentz.
Okay. What do you got for me?
Okay. I have famous Jameis King Crab Leg Winston versus Oakland, or Carr versus Tampa Bay.
Very well done. I'm gonna take Jameis at home.
Jameis at home.
Yep, I'm gonna take Jameis.
Okay.
I'm gonna get infamous. All right, let's move on to our running backs. Devontae Booker for Denver versus San Diego, or Gillislee versus New England.
I think Booker for sure.
Sure. Okay.
You want to do 2 running backs or just 1-on-1?
Oh, 1-1.
1-on-1? Okay. Jaquiz Rogers versus Oakland. I'm on a Tampa Bay theme here, not on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Or Michael at New Orleans. Christine Michael.
That is a good one, because Rodgers has yet to get in the end zone this year. I think he gets it done, finally gets in the end zone to quiz Rodgers over Michael. All right, I got a tough one for you, one that hits the heart a little bit.
Oh, no. All right.
Jeremy Hill versus Washington in London, or Gore versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
Man, you came up with some good ones today.
A little abstract.
Yeah, I like
abstract.
it. Since the Chiefs will be trailing a lot, the Colts will be trailing a lot, I'm going to go with Jeremy Hill, because as we talked about earlier, I think they're going to be in the lead, and then they're going to run the ball power. So
Okay.
I'll go with Hill.
Very good dissection there. Go ahead.
All right. So I have Mark Ingram versus Seattle, or LeGarrette Blunt at Buffalo.
I'm gonna go LeGarrette Blunt. I just think that he's had some solid games. They've been giving him action, and I think they're comfortable with what he's bringing to the table at the moment. And I just think that game against Seattle is a toss up, and Blunt. I'm going with LeGarrette Blunt there. Let's move on to our wide receivers. Let's stick with New Orleans. Brandon Cooks versus Seattle, or Des Bryant versus Philly.
Oh, shoot. I'm going to go with, and this is tough. I'm going with Cooks. Yes, I'm going with Cooks against the Shermanator. And it's only because Dak doesn't throw to Dez as much. So that would be my reasoning behind that. And it's Dez's first game back. I know he's been ready. He wants to go out and catch the ball. I think they're going to run the ball a lot as well.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, I'll go with a similar theme: Cooks versus Seattle, or Hopkins versus Detroit.
That's tough, because Hopkins has not been getting a lot of targets, and the targets he's getting have been horrific.
Targets.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Quotes needed on that one. I slept on that one. Yeah, targets. I'm gonna go with Hopkins.
You're going with Hopkins.
I think he's finally due to do a little bit of work, and I mean, Seattle has been so tough. I have to give them credit, as much as I don't want to. I gotta give them credit. I'm going with Hopkins.
All right, cool. I like it.
Okay, my next one for you: Randall Cobb versus Atlanta, or Marvin Jones versus Houston.
You're stealing half my questions.
You're welcome.
I'm going Marvin Jones, and hopefully this has no effect on my next question, because my next receiver question is Ty Montgomery or Randall Cobb.
Oh, that's tough. Same teamer. That's a good one. Oof. You know, I haven't read enough reports to hear what's going to happen in the backfield for Green Bay. But I think Atlanta is going to play up and against their short screen game. And I think Cobb is going to get some touches, some short touches, even at running back. So I actually am going to go with Cobb in this one.
You're going with Cobb.
I'm taking Cobb, corn on the cob on this one. All right, so there it is, right there, Jammers. You heard it. That's our fantasy Fast Five right there. Quick pick'ems, just kind of going with matchups, going with whatever. But now let's get down to some serious nitty gritty, sit 'em, start 'em, the stuff that means the most for your biggest question marks that you have for your fantasy teams. Let's start with Stevie QB. Start. Who do you start this week? No matter what, you're confident. Give me your start.
No matter what, comparable to my sit-'em would be Ryan Fitzpatrick. So I'm starting him against the Cleveland secondary, which is exactly. So I'm going to go with Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Have they been playing a secondary? Okay.
I don't think so. That's what I'm saying.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, start him. If you have him on the bench or if he's available, snag him up. You heard it right there, folks. I'm going to go with, he read it, Andy Dalton versus Washington. The only reason why I say this, to my defense, hold on. I'm a Skins fan, all right? So hold on now. The only reason why I say this is because I really don't think Josh Norman's going to be ready to go. Josh, please, no offense. I don't think you're going to be ready to go. I think even though you traveled over there, I think they're going to rest you and maybe chalk this one up. And I don't know how else to explain it. Go.
Josh, shut him up.
Please do. I hope I'm wrong. I just get the hinkling that Norman's not going to play, and that's going to open up a lot of passing ground for Dalton.
It will be a day for him,
It will be a day for him if Norman doesn't play. This is all speculation if Norman doesn't play. If Norman does play,
I like it.
I hope we contain him. But if he doesn't play, All right, so who's your sit at the quarterback position, Stevie?
My sit would be Tyrod Taylor. It's going to be a tough day for him, especially if McCoy doesn't go. Even if McCoy goes, I think Belichick has a good answer and knows that Tyrod's had kind of a weaker passing game this year as he's had in the past couple seasons, throwing the ball. So I'm going to sit Tyrod this year. Or this week, excuse me.
Yeah, I hear that. McCoy's 50-50, I've heard. So,
yes.
Yeah, fantasy owners, if you have something else, find something. Stevie's absolutely right. I'm going to go with Drew Brees. This is going to scare a lot of fantasy owners that have Drew Brees. But I'm telling you, against Seattle, if you have another option, find it. Whether it's Fitzpatrick, like Stevie said, against Cleveland, find another option because Drew Brees against Seattle, I can see a struggle coming, and I think there's more consistent options, less risk-reward type options. Drew Brees is a little too much risk-reward against Seattle. I say you sit Seattle.
Drop him for Fitzpatrick. No, don't do that.
Easy now. Okay. Pump the brakes. Okay, whoa. All right, let's move on to the running back. Stevie, what do you got at the start position for the running back?
I'm starting Booker against the Chargers. This dude is going to get probably 90% of their carries. Their run game hasn't been good, but that's how Denver plays football. Mm-hmm. So I think he's going to get 22 to 25 touches, probably 100 yards, touchdown rushing, and then probably 30 yards receiving. So I think that's a pretty strong game for somebody that you just picked off the waiver wire, probably within the last 2 weeks for sure.
No, solid. Good call. Absolutely good call. I'm going to go with Matt Forte. I think they want to keep the ball out of Fitzpatrick's hands. No offense. I do think Cleveland's secondary is a little skeptical, but I think they found a good equation with Forte. I think when they feed him the ball, they realize that he can be effective. I think they're going to roll with that. I think he's going to get the touches. I think it's going to be high volume for Matt Forte this week against Cleveland. And so for you fantasy owners, if you have Forte, I know it's kind of been a roller coaster ride for you. I say you roll with it. Forte this week against
So
Cleveland.
after Fitzpatrick throws for 3 touchdowns, then we can give the ball to Forte.
Some of them can
and
be
he
to
can get his
Forte.
stats.
Forte catches passes too. Let's not discriminate.
Yeah,
This man can do
True
it all.
story.
This man can
True
do it all.
story.
So
They don't utilize him enough in New York.
they really don't, and I think they need to find more ways to get him the football. I think they know that, and I think this week you're going to see
Agreed.
that they're like, hey, look,
Absolutely.
we just need to get him the football in any sort of way possible, whether it's catching,
Absolutely.
whether it's handing to him. He'll get it done. So,
That's
yeah,
right.
my
That's right.
my start this week is going to be Forte at Cleveland. What's your sit at running back, Stevie?
We're sitting Ryan Matthews at Dallas, which is it's not a bad sit, but I know people are holding on to him, and honestly, he's kind of a he's been sitting on your bench for pretty much your whole season, and no Philly running back is going to be somebody that you want to start.
Yeah, sit all Philly
So,
running backs.
Yeah, I mean, essentially till they get a good one. So not only sit them this week, sit all Philly running backs the rest of the season. Unless they trade for somebody, sit them. There's no reason. There's too many weapons. They have 4 running backs to get touches every freaking game. So
Yeah, they got Smallwood. They got Matthews, Sproles. I'm
Barner.
Yeah,
Kenyon
Barner.
Barner.
I'm fully with Stevie
Yeah,
on this
so
one. Like it's a crapshoot at the tailback position
Yeah,
for the Philadelphia Eagles this year, and you never know who's going to do anything. It was the same thing last year. For you fantasy owners, it's a headache. Drop him.
Yeah,
Just drop him.
It was a weak sit 'em. It was a weak sit 'em, but I agree with you. No Philly running backs.
Yeah, no, it's a headache at the running back position for a Philadelphia fantasy owner. So yeah, definitely sit Matthews. Can't agree more. This is another scary one for you fantasy owners. I'm gonna say sit Melvin Gordon against Denver. I mean, Denver's tough. They're tough, and Melvin Gordon, even though he's had a great year, I don't see it happening. I think Denver is gonna do whatever it takes to limit this man, and he's gonna have a short day. Maybe you might want to pick up a Philly. Okay, just kidding. okay, but for real,
Good one.
sit Melvin Gordon. It's gonna be a tough day against that Denver defense. They're for real. They really are. So sit Melvin Gordon. All right, Stevie, what do you got for me at the sit position for wide receiver?
We are sitting Kelvin Benjamin against Arizona.
Oh,
So
we are?
yeah,
Okay.
make sure you type that in. Actually, yeah, say your lineups. I'm sitting Kelvin, just because I think that the only way that they're going to get going is if they slow the game down. They have to run the ball. It didn't work against Atlanta when they had to catch up by, somehow they came back, but they were down, 24, 26 points. But within that, I think Greg Olsen is their best offensive player, outside of Cam Newton, obviously. So I think they're going to utilize his blocking skills as well as his receiving skills, to, I guess, the maximum ability, if you will.
I love that. I mean that's very intuitive. That makes perfect sense. I think that's a great idea. My sit is going to be Alshon Jeffrey versus Minnesota, and I just think Minnesota has a lot of pride. They were undefeated. They lost to Philly in really upsetting fashion for themselves. No offense to that Philly team. They put up a good fight and really rattled Bradford. But I think Minnesota has a lot to prove, and I think it's going to be a tough night for Cutler. I think it's going to be a tough night for Alshon Jeffrey. So for you Jeffrey fantasy owners, might have to put him on the bench for this week and wait it out, just because this Minnesota defense is gonna come out tough, and it's gonna be a hard week for Alshon Jeffrey. So that's my sit at wide receiver.
I hope he doesn't get hurt. That's all I'm asking, because I think Jay Cutler is going to be on his back the whole freaking game. So, I mean, if I was the Chicago owner, I would just say I would concede, to be honest with you, because they're having issues with the coach, and Cutler is saying you're starting me because you have to, and it's a rough show in Chicago right now.
Concede though.
I mean, come on. You play your wins. You don't hurt your best player.
Who? Cutler?
Yes. All right. So who's your stardom receiver?
I mean, I'm taking Fitzgerald at Carolina.
Gerald Fitzgerald.
I'm taking Larry. I just think this Carolina, young secondary has been exposed. And there's no more intelligent, professional wide receiver in the NFL than Fitzgerald, who can expose this young secondary. This man knows how to play the wide receiver position. Sure-handed, strong, tough, smart, good route runner. There's not many more accolades. I mean, there are more. There's a tremendous more accolades you could say about Fitzgerald, but those are rattling off the key points. This man knows how to play football. He will expose this young Carolina secondary, and he is a definite start at the wide receiver position, in my opinion.
No, I like it. My stardom is Brandon Marshall against Cleveland, which goes back to my stardom with Fitzpatrick. So I think they're gonna have a good connection. I think Marshall has 90 yards, one or two touchdowns. I would be comfortable in saying that he scores at minimum 15 points this week, non-PPR. So I think that's a solid stardom. He may not put up 24, 25 points, but 15 solid points. So I'll start him.
No,
with confidence for sure.
I like that. He's due for a good game. I mean, Brandon Marshall has been one of the top 3 or 5 receivers in the league for the last couple of years. So this dude, he's due to put up some numbers eventually. So
and he's got a Porsche on it against AB Antonio Brown, right? So
dang, wouldn't want to lose out on a
here
Porsche.
He goes for 400 yards. You got to catch up.
We're over here betting dollars, and they're betting Porsches. Okay.
Oh shit! If I could throw it to myself, I would. That's what he's saying.
Gosh, that'd be nice. Wouldn't that be nice?
Shoot.
No, that makes sense. This Cleveland secondary has been exposed, and no other man to do the job. B. Marsh, he's the go-to man right now, and Fitzpatrick obviously has had a connection with him. So yeah,
they trust each other. And Cleveland, somewhat surprisingly, they put up points. They've been putting up points.
Could be a shootout.
Now that Coleman's back,
maybe he's not official. It's still he's still
okay.
It's still up in the air.
Okay, as of today,
Mm-hmm.
Stories differ obviously. But within
Sunday.
that, Cleveland's been putting up points the past couple weeks, and their offense is getting going.
Yeah.
Their defense is still terrible, so give me a 35-25 shootout.
I like a shootout. I like it. It makes sense. I like it. Okay, fantasy owners, you've heard everything. If you have any other questions, please let us know. We will answer your questions. We will help you win your fantasy matchups this week. We promise. Just let us know what your questions are, whether it's a start, whether it's a sit, whether it's anything. Let us know. We'll help you out. We'll try and give you the best advice we can to help you win your fantasy matchups because we want to see you win these matchups. But I think that's all we have for you tonight. And, if you guys want to, let us know on Instagram, whatever questions you have, comments. Let us know on Twitter, questions, comments. Same thing on Facebook, questions, comments. All at Cam Sports Jam.
And your opinions on our costumes.
On our costumes.
Which will be on Instagram, you said?
They will be on Instagram.
Okay.
And they will be on Facebook. Let us know if we shouldn't go out in these costumes in public or if we should. So give us criticism. Give us encouragement. Whatever the case may be on these Halloween costumes.
Enjoying it.
However you guys want to interact with us,
please do.
We love interacting with you guys. So feel free to give us any information, comments, questions. If you guys have anything you want to ask us about your fantasy rosters, especially, let us know. We're more than happy to answer your questions and give you the most up to date information that we possibly can on any of those questions. But without further ado, I think that's all from Stevie and Brad. Big shout out again to all of our sponsors. And reminding you, Jammer fans, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Have a happy Halloween.